Hello, this is Fortnite Maniac. Welcome to another video. Make sure to drop a like on this video, it helps me out a lot. If you could also comment, subscribe, that'd be very nice. Today we're going to be going over some very helpful tips and tricks that'll help you improve your game. Some of these are kind of common knowledge, a lot of them aren't though, so first thing we're going to do is jump and do a solo, and one of the most important things to remember is what skin you are. That is, if you have skins, this plays a big factor. For example, this skin is going to stick out like a sore thumb because there's a lot of red. While darker skins can blend in with the shadows. Like this loading screen, for example, it's a lot of white, so you can kind of blend in with the snow a little bit. Doing skins like that can kind of help you get noticed a few seconds later. And a lot of the tips in this video are going to help you save a couple seconds. Every second counts when it comes to Fortnite. The very first thing is landing. So, there are two rules to landing. There are certain places that you pretty much always know are going to have people, and then you're never going to go, if you want to avoid people, you don't want to go anywhere that's straight on the line, unless maybe it's like at the end. So for example, we're not going to go whaling, we're not going to go Dusty, because it's right there. We're not going to go Salty, we're not going to go House on Hill, we're not going to go to Disco Place. Another thing is like this very populated areas that if you're trying to get one you might want to avoid. Like Pleasant isn't as populated, Tilted has a lot of people, Retail Row, Paradise Palms, a couple of other places sometimes. So this game I'm going to go to Lonely Lodge, because based off the challenges, I mean, there's going to be more people landing here at this mansion, so I can go here and get some loot, and if I want to engage those guys I can. If I don't, I can zip line over and get some planes. Planes are another big factor when figuring out where to land, because they're an extremely helpful mode of transportation. So, another thing I'd recommend is if you have an area you really like, learn the chest spawns, because it's like, I know where pretty much every chest in Lonely Lodge is, and I don't go here that much. So yeah, I remember to check for an ammo can, because I knew that ammo cans can't spawn there. Another tip is to organize your hotbar. Doesn't matter how, everybody organizes it differently, but set it up to maximize efficiency when switching around your guns. Good plan. And now we're going to go through some various settings that will be extremely helpful to improve your game. So for starters, if you don't use Builder Pro, you should start just with normal building options. You have to swap through the builds, like with your hotbar where you swap through weapons. So for example, we're going from a wall to a ramp to a floor to a pyramid really, really fast. It's kind of hard with like Combat Pro, for example. But with Builder Pro, you just gotta press different buttons. For example, it's R2 for a wall, L2 for a ramp, and use the R1 and L1 for pyramids and floors. Another thing is sensitivity. You don't want to turn your sensitivity up as high as you feel comfortable with. This is just like when I turn, it makes it easier to turn, and I don't have to do as much. So here, let's look at these settings. So to change the builder, or the build controls, just go here. There's not really too many combat differences when it comes to these, but Builder Pro is the best for building. And then you can see I have the wireless controller targeting sensitivity and scope sensitivity. You're not really going to want to mess with that. What we're worrying about is this, which you're going to want to have it as high as possible. And then building sensitivity, not too worried about that. Invert view is just kind of like with the planes. You look up to look down, kind of. And then sprint by default is a good one because that just means you just press run and you press walk and you start running. And then there's some other very helpful things that I would recommend checking out. The controller edit hold time, that is the amount of time it takes to hold that circle. It normally takes a long time, but I can do it in like basically a second. And then another thing is pay attention to where the eye is and think about how long it's going to take you to get there and how long you have to get there. For example, the storm starts moving in like 15 seconds, but it'll be a little bit before the storm actually gets to me. I'm going to buy this. There's not too much metal in Lonely Lodge, so I'm not going to try to get the scar. Normally I would, but like I said, not too much money there. Take a while. And there is more loot here, but I do want to make sure to get good rotation to the eye, so I'm going to leave some of that loot and get a plane. Another thing is, since you can drop balloons now, like you can put one on and then drop the other ones, putting on one balloon and then dropping the pack is very helpful, because this allows you to jump higher and you don't really take fall damage. Another tip is, so if you're on PlayStation, I don't know what key it is on computer, but if you're on PlayStation, you use the left button on the D-pad to place a marker wherever you're looking. And on Xbox, it's also left on the little arrow keys. Like I said, I don't know what the control is for the computer, but that's very helpful in team modes, like duos or squads, trying to tell your team where stuff is. Another thing is, if you want to find out where a supply drop is, you can look straight at it and do that. It'll mark where the supply drop is, and you can see how far it is, which will tell you whether or not the supply drop is worth going for. Another thing is, when planes blow up, you do lose health if you're in them. So keep an eye. You can't really see your plane's health while you're in the cockpit. They're going to add that. It's next up there. But another thing they're going to change is they're going to up the damage that you take when you're in a plane and it blows up. So a very important thing is, at least right now, you just have to watch how your plane looks. A plane looks nice and fresh. If it looked really rugged and like it was about to fall apart, I would want to jump out of it. Another thing is, think about what engagements are worth taking. For example, this engagement, I'm not going to invest a lot of time in this. If I can get a couple of shots off on that dude, okay, I see he's a good shot. I'm not mine, and so I'm kind of just going to worry about that. Some examples of engagements that are worth taking are, for example, this guy. I can knock that guy down pretty easily. And maybe it's not worth fighting him, but it was definitely worth doing that kind of flyby. And you see my plane looks a little less fresh now. It's kind of damaged. It ain't really broken. At least not. And then another really important thing is audio cues. If you feel like your volume isn't high enough, turn it up. And I see that's a different plane because that one's red. So now I'm not engaged. The red plane is out of line. Now the red plane is engaging anyway. I'm going to kind of get some distance so I can turn around. With plane fights, an important thing to remember is you always want to make sure you're not getting shot at by both dudes. And it's probably not a good idea. There are certain cases where you want to shoot at both dudes. Certain cases where you just want to get one of them out of the sky first. Like this instant, for example, the normal looking plane is almost completely destroyed. That was a close one. So you saw that dude jumped out of his plane, got in mine, and I just about managed to kill him. So, and then you also saw I used minis basically immediately, because if somebody had shot me while I was in my plane at 3 health, I would have been dead. Another thing to remember is when you're doing certain things, you might want to look around, or crouch, or sometimes even build. For example, I'm not going to do anything when I'm drinking this bit shield because I have the cover of the trees. But if I were in the open, I probably would have built a little pyramid over myself. Another thing to watch out is judging fall damage. So you see each ramp is 1 story. 3 stories is the max height where you don't take fall damage. Anything above 3 stories, or even like jumping off of 3 stories, you take fall damage. And that sniper shot would have killed me if it hit, so thank you for not hitting. Ooh. See, another thing is, if you're getting sniped at like this, you never want to stop moving. And in a situation like this, for example, I'm going to assume that dude's trying to push me if he can. So I'm trying to find meds of some kind so that I can get healed up before I have to engage another person. Because if I'm fighting someone and they make me lose health, I'm basically dead. Because even though it's shooting me, it goes through the shield first. Things like planes and the storm and fall damage can go straight to health. Can't get on with meds, but yeah. And then another thing I'd definitely recommend is don't stress this, but keep track of it. Make sure to keep a track kind of the player count, because where you're at in the game can kind of tell you how likely you are to see people, how people are going to be playing, and different stuff like that. For example, this is late game. I'm probably only going to get into a couple more fights before the end of the game. Logically. Unless I played super aggressively, then I'd probably get in like 4 or 5 more fights, maybe. So there's 10 other people, because the 11 counts me. So 11 minus 1 is 10. Fun fact. But, so right now, all I'm doing is getting as high on health and shields as I can. I'm 100, so that's good. I got 7 minis. You always want to carry some kind of med or shield. Very important. And then, another thing is know where you're at. For example, I know I'm over that, like, cliff. See, and I might have taken the shot at that dude, and now he knows where I am. But you see, he's not engaged, and I kind of figured he wouldn't. And I knew either he already saw me, or he was the kind of person who wouldn't want to engage. Again, right now I don't have anybody shooting at me, so I'm trying to grab mats, make sure I have high ground. I hear gliding, so you gotta be careful. Another thing is always watch your back. You never know when somebody's aiming at your head with a sniper. It always kind of sucks when you get sniped in the back of the head, but it happens to everybody. Again, just trying to get up on mats. Like I was saying earlier, I got the one balloon. Another thing is I'm looking around, so now I know where 1 out of the 5 other people are. And I did not mean to let go of that balloon, just to clarify. Is there a rift? See, I nailed that dude for 54 shield. If I hadn't nailed that shot, I probably wouldn't be pushing right now. But that puts him at a severe disadvantage to me. Where'd he go? Okay, at this point I don't know where he went, so I'm just gonna fly out of here. I don't want to deal with him coming back. And I saw him shooting at me. I kind of knew he was working his way down the mountain. And now I have ultimate hunting. So it's me and 4 people. I see this is my only rift, so I don't want to waste that. I go ahead and tad that balloon because I can see the health bar through objects, so that way I'll know when it gets used. I'm going to build like this so that way I can just break my ramp and fall through the rift if absolutely necessary. I see it, this rift isn't in the eye. So what I'm going to do is when the storm's right on me, I'm going to rift, and then pretty much no matter where the high ground is, I'm going to hit it. I hear fighting, and I see there's a dude coming for me. Normally, you'd want to kind of wait, but since he was coming towards me, kind of just waiting for him to peek right now. He has a sniper, so he's definitely hard scoping me. Right now he's doing the smart thing, he's trying to get level or higher than me, because with me having the high ground, I had a very large advantage. See, I'm pretty sure he's not going to be able to make that rift. Oh wow, that was impressive. now I see that another guy is interested in this. Got him. But now I got another dude on me. It's me and two people. I'm looking at the loot. Not really much that interests me. At this point I kinda know there's the dude below me who has an RPG, and then there's that third dude. No clue where he's at. This dude's just decided to do something again. See, the reason I went down a little bit the reason I did that a second ago was because I didn't want to be too high to where if he knocked me down I'd be screwed. There's one down. No, 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 no. Dude! Sorry I yelled stream. Or not stream. Sorry I yelled. Whatever. Yeah, but see, I followed all those tips and tricks and I ended up getting second place. Should have kept a better eye on my mats. That was the main reason I lost. And turns out, the dude with the I think both of those dudes had RPGs. The sucky thing was, though, I wasn't able to get that no skins loot. If I had been able to, I would have had some mats, and I probably could have built. Maybe even could have won the game. Who knows? But, those have been tips and tricks. So, hope you guys enjoyed.